so yeah, the GP that I got when I got here, it's taken me a long time to find a general practitioner, just a general doctor since I got here, because there's such an oxycodone problem here, that if you're already on a controlled substance, it makes it really hard to find a doctor. I'm pretty sure I talked about this already, but I found one, and she didn't even really talk to me. I didn't even know she was my doctor at first. I only had one visit with her. I don't even remember her name. I think she was a nurse practitioner, so it was like her first time in private practice or something. But she didn't even make eye contact with me. In fact, the lady that came in before her, when you go to a doctor's appointment, a person that comes in and they ask you a couple questions and they put in your information there in the computer, and then your real doctor comes in. The lady that came in and did that, she was more talkative with me than the doctor itself. Hence why I didn't think the doctor I had was my actual doctor until I was just leaving, and she was like, "Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is put you on a little bit more of the Klonopin and see how that works." The thing is, I don't have a doubt in my mind that she thought I was trying to get drugs out of her, because I was very short with her, because like I said, I didn't think she was my doctor, so I was just trying to be brief with her and just trying to because she didn't even make eye contact with me, bro. She was sitting there on the computer the whole time, and I'm like sitting here over next to her, and she's just putting in my information, and then at the end of the session she gets up and she's like, "All right, so I think I'm gonna prescribe you some Klonopin and stuff." I'm like, "Wait, so you were my doctor?" Like, oh, I didn't even, had I known what I know now, I would have been a lot more open and told you everything, but I was just trying to just give her the general gist of it, because I didn't think she was my doctor. But she gave me a total of 12 milligrams to make it through the whole month of Klonopin. Or I'm sorry, she gave me a total of 12. Yeah, she gave me a total of 12 milligrams to make it through the month. It was either 12 milligrams or 12 pills. 12 something. It was a very low amount. And you're going to have to excuse my lack of memory, because the thing is, I've been really doped up where I've been. I'm about to get into that, where the place they had me, and they had me really, really doped up on a lot of Klonopin and stuff. And a major side effect of it is my memory is very... It's not that I lack it, it's that I don't quite know where things are placed. I have a hard time remembering what happened where. So please forgive me if I repeat things that I've already said in this video. So when I went to see that GP, she hooked me up, but afterwards, as I was leaving, they wanted me to take a urine analysis, and which normally is no problem, but I was already going through the withdrawal, which I don't know if you've been through withdrawal, but it makes it hard to piss. So if you had seen the bathroom that they wanted me to take this urine analysis in, I don't think anybody could piss in here. I don't know how they expect you to, because this is gonna sound like a cartoon, I swear to God. It is just this big, like 10 by 10 room with tile, and it's not up against any sort of wall. It's just by itself. Okay, there's rooms around it everywhere, so it's like surrounded by other rooms. And the toilet is in the middle of the room. The toilet is in the middle of this 10 by 10 room, and the room is in the middle of a bunch of other different rooms. So not only that, but there's a window on the side of it where you're supposed to put the cup when you're done. Like, you open it and you put the cup in there and you close it, and that leads to the nurse's station or whatever, where they analyze your urine analysis. I'm sorry. That's another thing with anxiety. It just gives me gas, so a lot of burping and stuff. But I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So I went in there and I sat in there for like 10 minutes. Oh, and the walls are so hollow. Like, you can hear every sound and voice coming from every wall. So it's like, just you try to piss in that type of environment when there's... Oh, and if you don't, like, come out within like 5 minutes, the nurse, she'll open the door for you and check to see if anybody's in there, and then she closes it. I swear to God, okay, I swear to God this happened. I'm not lying to you. I've never lied to you here. I promise you, this is what happened. And then, so I couldn't piss. I just couldn't do it. So I was like, they were like, okay, if you can't do it, you can't do it. And another thing, the nurse, she very has like 3 fingers. And when I say she very has 3 fingers, it's not like she has 3 fingers and that's just her life. She puts it in your face. Like, she makes it very clear. And I don't know why I'm bringing this up because it's kind of fucked up. I mean, obviously, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's not her fault. But like, she was like leaning over, like next to the wall with like my face right there, and she just has like these three finger things, and she's like, "So can you not pee in the thing?" And there's like this whole family of I'm sorry, I hit the microphone. There's a whole family of Hispanic people behind her, and like, she just has her three fingers in my face, and she's like, "So you can't do it?" And I'm like, I'm just have my head down. I'm all ashamed of myself. No, I can't do it. I can't. And she's like, "Well, if you can't do it, you can't do it." And so I just gave her the empty cup, and I just went on my way. And but before then, they had already scheduled me for another appointment. So I went for the next appointment the next month, and that was month before last or month before this one. Again, that's that thing. I don't know where the things are placed. So, but I went again, and first thing they did before they even took me into the and this was the day after I made that post saying that I went from 45 milligrams to 4 in a month. When I went in there the second time, they didn't even bring me into the doctor's thing. They just immediately took me in for the urine analysis. And I was going through even more withdrawal than I was before due to being on such a low dose so abruptly. So I just walking in there, I was shaky and I was tense and I was sweating and dry mouth, all the symptoms of withdrawal. So they go in and they tell me to do the urine analysis, but this time I was prepared. I drank a whole thing of water before and I was ready to go. I really had to go. But when I went in there, I just couldn't do it again. And I eventually just kind of sat there against the wall. Like, I'm not like, what do you do? What am I going to walk out? Like, what am I going to like? So I'm just sitting there against the wall with my dick out, just trying to make something happen. And sure enough, the nurse lady opens the door and looks in and is like, man, closes it. And it's just not happening. So I literally just dropped the cup, walked out of the building. And that bitch of a receptionist was like, bye, Travis. Like she fucking found, like she like, it was as if she nailed me down as somebody who was trying to just scam them for drugs. And you gotta understand, my mom, I'm really fucked up with this kind of stuff because I watched my mom do that. I watched my mom try to scam. She did it successfully a lot. She would scam, I don't know if scam is the right word, but she would do everything she can to try to cheat the system just to get a certain drug to get a high. Because that's who my mom was very much a fiend. Like at the core, she was very much a drug fiend. She was a heroin addict. That's what killed her. She got Hep C from it, and the cancer just brought her to the point where it was able to drop her. But I watched her my whole life lie to doctors, and cheat them and do whatever she could just to get a fix. So it's hard for me, especially as a young person who looks the way I do. Obviously, I look better than I did before, I think, but I still look a little sickly. And I'm young. It's just my demographic. So when I walk in there and I can't just walk in there and say, hey, Klonopin is what helps me, give me a benzo. So it's really hard for me to do it. And I have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm too self-aware. That's not the word I'm looking for, but I'm too self-aware when I'm talking to a doctor, and that's the point I'm trying to get at, because I don't want them to think that I'm just trying to scam them out of a pill. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact is, the Klonopin is really what helps me the most. But there's no real way for me to say that without sounding like that's just what I'm there for, and that's what I'm just trying to get out of them, and I'm never going to see him again. So I don't really know how to approach a doctor when I talk to him. That's besides the point. Anyway, so I get out there, I leave, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do now? Because that was the only people that I could find in the valley that would take somebody on a controlled substance. Controlled substance is really just being pain management. Unfortunately, Xanax and these benzos can be used for pain management, even though they're primarily used for anxiety and stress. So luckily, just by the grace of God, I found this guy, Chris Murphy, and it's almost fate. Like, I don't know if it's fate, but it's just like the coincidences are so funny because my doctor, Chris Murphy, he's located which I don't have an appointment with him until the 18th, so I haven't seen him yet, but I know of him. He's around my age. And all the doctors I've had before then were way out of my generation, so I think it's going to be cool to meet a guy who not only is taking someone on controlled substances, but who I can level with, because he grew up in the same time as me. You know what I'm saying? And he seems like a good guy. His name's Chris Murphy, and well, Dr. Murphy. But the thing is, he lives, like, if you go down where I live right here and you take a left down and you go to, I can't give you the streets. I hope you understand. So, but when you go down here and you go down far enough, you'll eventually hit like Murphy Road, and then you take a right, and then a right from there is Doctor's Road, and then right there is where Dr. Murphy is. So that's my doctor, and so I can't miss it. You can't get lost. So I had an appointment with him on the 18th, and I was going to try to stick it out until then. I was going to try to stick it out until the 18th, and but I originally thought I just had to stick it out to the 2nd, because I was just told it was like a Tuesday. But I always get my Tuesdays and Thursdays mixed up. Tuesdays and Thursdays and 4s and 7s are those are the two things in my life. For some reason, I will forever get them mixed up. Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then the number 4 and the number 7. And it's fucked me so many times in my life. I don't know how I developed it. I don't know how I got there, but just those two things, I always get them confused. I always mix them up. I know the difference between the two, obviously. I just always get them mixed up when I have to use them. So I went there on the 2nd, which was a Tuesday, which I thought was my appointment, which was what I was holding out for. I was just holding out because I ran out of the Klonopin. Did I mention that? I ran out of the Klonopin, so I switched over to Xanax. That's the part. Yes, I knew I was missing a part. I ran out of Klonopin the day that I had my 2nd appointment with the failed urine analysis lady. I ran out of Klonopin that day, so I was like, okay, all I have left is Owen gave me, because he's going through acid reflux and stuff right now, and he has a lot of back problems. He can't be taking he's on hydrocodone, I believe. He's on painkillers, so he can't be taking them with the benzos. So he gave me all of his for now. And since I ran out of the Klonopin, I switched over to the Ativan. Now, Ativan is between Xanax and Klonopin with regards to the half-life. But the thing is, the Ativan just made me feel very sick. Not like, well, yeah, that kind of very nauseous sick. Like I wanted to throw up a lot, and I didn't have an appetite. And that's when things started getting really bad. Because then I decided, okay, this Ativan isn't doing it for me. I took it for like 3 days. Then I switched over to just the straight Xanax again. And it just stopped. I don't know if it was because I was going down on the half-lives or what. Because at this point I was so fucked up. This was at the beginning of last week, I believe. I just started taking the Xanax, and I was just sitting there. I was like, I just got to make it to the 18th. I just got to make it to the 18th when I can see see Dr. Murphy, and he'll take care of me. But I couldn't do it. And the day before Lynn got here on the 30th, this was the 29th. This is the day that I'm going to be talking about now is the 29th of last month. The day before Lynn got here, the withdrawal, I don't know what it was. It was just none of my regular outs for panic attacks were working. And it was the first time that it happened. No pill, no like, using my physical and pulling myself into the physical with my senses, nothing, no movie, no show, no music, nothing was working. And it just felt like everything was closing in more and more. And so I went downstairs and I had my Taurus Judge, which just has shotgun rounds. That's how fucking bad I wanted to go. And I put it to my head. And God, okay, hold up. Let me start the next video, because this is